Greetings, market researchers. We're coming to you from the Market Research event in San Diego on November the 8th. This is Mark Dresner, and I have with me today Kristin Luck. She is the president of Decipher. Thanks for joining us today, Kristin.
Thanks for having me.
We had a couple questions. You've been to the event a few times, and you're chairing one of the tracks this time. What has thus far been your most memorable experience at the Market Research event 2010?
Yikes. Well, it's the first day, but the culture and trends track that I've been sharing has just been amazing. We've had some really impressive speakers. I think it was Tom LaForge, who's with Coca-Cola, gave an amazing presentation today on, I think it was macro systems, or it was just a great talk, and we've been really fortunate that we've had the caliber of speakers that we had this year.
Any surprises?
You know, there haven't been so many surprises yet, but I anticipate that there will be by the end of the day.
Fair enough, fair enough. Where do you think research, based on what you've heard today, where do you think the industry is going, if you had to, wax poetic on one or 2 points?
Right. Well, I mean, definitely I think everybody's thinking more consumer-centric than they have probably in past years, really about how consumers are communicating and how brands really have to work to accommodate those new communication modes versus the other way around, where I think it used to be, brands were kind of driving the conversations. I think consumers really are now. So that's certainly been a focus. And then also a lot on new research platforms, like how do we really engage and keep consumers connected? And a lot of that's been through mobile or other kind of more innovative devices. Gongos talked a little bit about mobile platforms, and then TNS just gave a great presentation on how to sort of modify your tracking studies to be more relevant to today. So we've had some great speakers.
Your background, you have kind of a combination of research, but a lot of tech savvy. So is there anything that you've heard today that you find a little bit intimidating or particularly challenging from a research and technology background point of view?
I mean, not so much from technology. I mean, I do think there's a lot of focus on mobile and mobile apps, and I think one of the challenges that we have as researchers is how do we make mobile research the most representative? So, there's been a lot of focus on iPad technology and iPhone technology, but that's still a pretty small segment of the population. I think around 30% of respondents have smartphones, and so it's really looking at how do we reach the broadest base of people and maybe not just focus so much on iPhone or iPad applications, but also on Android, which is really up and coming and about ready to give iPhone a butt kicking, I've heard. And also BlackBerry, there's still a large percentage of BlackBerry users. So.
And as we saw in one of the last sessions, they had stats that show the encroaching or impending ubiquity of these kinds of devices. So
Absolutely.
It's not so far off.
Yeah, and I mean, I think definitely smartphone and mobile research is here to stay. I think it's going to be the next big break in the industry, and already you can see that from some of the presentations here today. But at the same time, I think accessibility is key, and we can't forget about that.
Now, as you noted, this is our first day at the event, so we've got a lot more coming for the next couple of days. But what I would ask you right now, one last question, is in terms of practical information and insight that you're going to take back with you, does any one thing stick out, any one point that you heard today?
I think, more than anything, it's been about, kind of keeping research at the center of the process. I mean, even though there is definitely a focus at this conference on tools and new technologies, and certainly that's something I'm presenting on later this week, I think more than anything, researchers have to understand that our value is in the thinking and in the thought process that we bring to the table. And so really keeping an eye on that and trying not to get too overwhelmed about new tools and tricks, but really remembering that it's our thought and our vision that keeps us where we are.
Very, very good advice. Thank you very much for joining us, Kristin, and have a terrific rest of the conference.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone.